Hello everyone and welcome to live coverage of the season opening round of the 2016 CRC World Championship. The paddock are here in Melbourne getting ready for what is hopefully going to be an interesting season opener and a track that has always seen action in CRC. Well, I just said hello everyone, welcome. The race gets underway in just under 40 minutes where it's going to be an interesting one, I think, to see who is going to take victory here in Melbourne. But the pit lane opens in around 7 minutes time here at Melbourne. But it's a really big day for all these teams, as a first race of the season always is, because it is what they have been building up to for ages, for what they have been building up to for months, not just since the end of the season, but since like quite a way before the end of the season they have been building up to this. So it could be a very interesting season. So obviously we have around 10 minutes to go till we have the pit lane opening here at Melbourne. Of course, it's also the first race with the current generation of F1 units, but still it's not like the amount of change we had in CRC last year. Because last year we all obviously saw a lot of changes with the introduction of with the usage of rFactor 2 for being in its first year. Of course, now this is the second year with this simulator. It's kind of like after, as people said about F1 last year, kind of in a way after the revolution. You can say this is after the year which saw the massive shift in regulation changes, which saw a massive shift in the technical regulations, which saw an absolutely massive shift, to this year, which doesn't really have too many differences in the regulations. So obviously the teams know how this simulator goes, but the big question is, this year, can these new turbo hybrids coming in cause anyone to catch up to Yamaha Roka? The advantage that they had last year, they won 14 of the 20 races, they got 18 of the 20 pole positions, they won the Constructors 4 races, with 4 races to spare, and confirmed that they were going to get the drivers in that same race as well, just the drivers had not been decided yet. And that dominance that Yamaha Roka showed last year was absolutely incredible. But the question is, will they have the same amount of dominance this year? That's the big question. How much dominance are they going to get this year? But here we are. We've got just over 5 minutes, like 7 minutes till the pit lane opens, because the pit lane opens 25 minutes before the race starts this year rather than 30. Which is what was seen last year. Rather than 30 minutes. But we are almost ready. We are almost set. As we have a bit of a crowd building up here in the pit lane. Here at Melbourne, we have a bit of a crowd. But I honestly do think we should be in for a good one today. I wonder who it is going to be who's going to take... It's going to be very interesting. But before the pit lane opens, we will obviously be giving you a rundown of the grid as usual. But with regards to the weather, it is expected to be a dry race here in Melbourne. It's expected to be dry. As they're just getting everyone in. Everyone has to go into the servo, obviously, when the pit lane opens. But it will be possible to follow the races on live races this year. And this race will obviously be no exception. And there will be the race link as well, which will obviously be in the chat after the race, like immediately after the race is finished. But we are pretty much set. We've got the game starting up. With just under half an hour to go till lights out, so really not long to go. Of course, last year obviously was the first race with rFactor 2, which saw a very interesting race here at Melbourne. Last year we did see a very interesting race. It was the first race of a new era, which did see action. Here is how last year's race unfolded. So, after that was a very entertaining race for last year, but now, as the pit lane is about to open, it's time to give you a rundown of how they line up for the season opener of today's race. At the back of the grid, we have Elliot Everson and Bex Howie. It's the two speed techs that make up the back row. In 28th on the grid, we have Louis Hyde with James Lang lining up in 27th, the winner of the HWR Speed Tech Battle. Harvey Williams lines up in 26th in the Shantana, behind Ben Blakemore in 25th. In 25th on the grid, 4th on the grid after an incident with Duran, could not get a lap in to get into Q2. Phoebe O'Connor on her debut, she was really disappointed. Dan Phillips was held up on his best lap and will start in 23rd. David Bland in 22nd, very disappointing for Tove. And Louise Morrow starts in 21st in a very disappointing race for RTS. Qualifying for RTS. Jack Baldwin just could not find any pace in his car and could only manage 20th and got held up. In 19th on the grid, we have Maxwell Dragala. Tom Mungle lines up in 8th on the grid. Tove were relieved to get a car into Q2. With Kerry Ann Peace in 17th. Good qualifying for Lockie. Chloe Carter starts in 16th. With Luke Julian lining up in 15th. Abby Leger on her CRC debut lines up in 14th. With Hannah Duran lining up in 13th on the grid. Lucas Quintanilla lines up in 12th. with Matthew Towson relieved to qualify in 11th. Hannah Duran don't forget had a grid penalty. Lucy Woodward rounds out the top 10 with her teammate Will Buchan just in front of her. Kieran Harsey was relieved to get into Q3. He will start in 8th with Dan Milner in 7th on the grid. 6th on the grid is Matt Coombs in his first race for Motorsports, just behind Rosie O'Driscoll on her Grand Prix debut. On soft tyres, we are hearing. What can she do? In 4th on the grid, we have Chantel Hawke, with Toby Jones in 3rd. 2nd place on the grid is Alex Morse, but he could not do anything to beat his teammate, Wesley, who starts on pole. So, meanwhile, the pit lane is now open here at Melbourne. We are set for an interesting race. Now we're just looking at the cars exiting. Everyone's just allowed to do a few laps around for a few minutes. Here you have Kerry-Ann Peace exiting the pit lane with Ben Blakeman behind. Will Buchan is there going exiting the pit lane. But it's the first race, because as I've said many times, it's what all these teams and drivers have been building up to before today. Leslie's already gone out for his reconnaissance laps, but it is what all these teams and drivers have been building up to for ages. So, of course, it is going to be a very tense times for these teams and drivers. So the pit lane is about to close, and of course we have the grid. I'm not sure how many interviews we're going to get, but it's going to be an interesting race as all the cars are just making their way to the grid at the moment. But we are hearing that they are all on. So the majority have gone for the medium tyre, but we do have around 10 to 15 cars who have gone for a different tyre choice. But we are almost ready to get underway here in Melbourne. It's of course what all these, and of course on these reconnaissance laps we can actually then have a look at what tyre each car is on. So we're going to know, because they have obviously are set to their tyres. And both Yanata Rokas, we are seeing that they are on the medium tyre. Both Yanata Rokas are going to be doing the race on the medium. And same with Jones and Hawke. Interestingly, Rosie O'Driscoll is on the soft tyre. That is very interesting. Rosie O'Driscoll is starting on the soft tyre. So that could really make things very interesting. And Dan Milner is on the hard, but the rest of the top 10 are on the standard medium tyre. So that's going to make things very interesting. In the midfield, we've got more of a variation. The two RTSs, unsurprisingly, are doing something different. They are starting on the hard tyre. Mossa are doing split strategies. We're seeing that Towson's on the hards, Legit on the softs. I think that this could create some real variation in the race today. With this variation in strategy, that is going to make things very interesting with this variation in all the strategies. But Everyone is on the grid. Here at Melbourne. The national anthem we do have coming up of Australia. The national anthem we do have coming up, and everyone is on the grid. And this is an interesting sight. We have but we are in for an interesting race, I think. And here we have an interesting. Here we have at the front of the grid every single CRC champion from since, of course, the 20th anniversary of CRC, assembling at the front of the grid for a photo just before the typical beginning of season photograph. Of course, this is not the 20th season, it's the 21st season. Just before now, all the drivers are going to the front of the grid. Now, as they've had that photo, now all the drivers currently going to the front of the grid for the typical beginning of season photograph, where all the 30 drivers of this year's CRC grid let's hope that it's a clean season with a good season and good for everyone. But we are almost ready for the national anthem as the beginning of season photograph. It's always a big moment for the drivers to be sitting at the front of the grid for the beginning of season photograph. But now they've done that, and they're going to be staying in this formation as the national anthem of Australia is about to play here at Melbourne. But they're just getting a few more things ready. The crowd are absolutely enjoying it. Here we have the national anthem of Australia. And the crowd absolutely loving that. The national anthem of Australia plays. We only have 13 minutes to go till lights out here at the Australian Grand Prix, or till the formation lap is scheduled to get underway here at Melbourne. And we are almost set for what we hope is a good season opener. We got some strategies varying, we've got strategy variations. It's going to be an interesting one. But talking about the strategies, we haven't spoken much about them this week, and we didn't speak about them even in the previous stream that we did last week. But basically explaining the strategy regulations, each driver and team and driver has a choice of choosing one tyre for the race, and that tyre they have to use for the entire race. And so they have the choice of the soft, the medium and the hard. The super soft is a qualifying tyre, so it won't be used in the race. But for the soft tyres, they have the choice to use the soft. The soft should do 3 stops. The medium is the default choice, and are likely to be doing 2 stops. And the hard will be doing a 1-stopper race. So of course the safest option to do is going to be, of course the safest option is the medium, but they're not sure how many drivers are going to choose that. We've got 11 minutes left to go here at Melbourne till we get underway. Of course, it is certainly set to be an interesting one. I do really hope we get an interesting race here at Melbourne. We're almost set for the Australian Grand Prix. Here at Melbourne. We've got 10 minutes left to go before we get this thing underway here in Melbourne. It's set to be a fascinating one here in Melbourne. Of course, don't forget you can also, if you want to follow just checking because I just got a message about something, just checking. If you also want to follow the race, go to ksrmotorsport.liveracers.com for also the live timing for the season opening round. Anyway, I'll be right back, then it'll be almost time to go to the KSR coverage. So, only 2 more minutes till we go to KSR coverage. Of course, we are certainly in for an interesting race, I think. But, of course, I mean, the official predictions closed before qualifying yesterday, but put your top 3 in the predictions. Yeah, interesting things said in the chat. Hulkenberg fan 15, Hulkenberg Racing 15. I feel like Rosie O'Driscoll might have the edge over Toby Jones. That could be interesting. But Toby Jones is ahead on the grid. Of course, it will take a while for O'Driscoll to get to speed. But now it is time. It's time. We're just about set then. It's time for the season opener. The 2016 CRC World Championship. Well, it is the 13th of March 2016 and we are ready for the start of the 2016 CRC World Championship. It takes place at the Albert Park circuit and with a circuit length of 5.303 kilometers and a race distance of 307.574 kilometers, clockwise in direction, 16 turns, and the race will consist of 58 laps. Here to do today in today's Australian Grand Prix. And well, this is what we've all been building up to. What all the drivers have been building up to going into this season. Of course, they've been preparing for this for months. I mean, people have said since... People may think only since the end of last season, but they've been preparing these cars for even longer than you think. Since probably around September, October, they've all been preparing for this season. And now it's all about to kick off. It's all about to get started here at Melbourne. We've got 3 minutes left to go till we get the formation lap underway. And we're going to... So we've got 2 minutes to go, but strategies, that is going to be the big talking point of today, I think, because when strategies last were in 2014, the first race is where it all was very interesting. The first race of the 2014 season, where we saw Matt Coons winning with a strategy that no one thought was going to work, but it did. It paid off handsomely, so you never know what's going to happen. The only two drivers, though, in the top 10 who are not on the medium tyre are Rosie O'Driscoll, who's on the soft tyre, and Dan Milner, who is on the medium tyre. On the hard tyre, I mean. But we're almost set to go to the race here in Melbourne with the formation lap here in Melbourne. And the other thing is, something that could really throw strategies out of the window is, could we see a safety car? There is a high chance. Statistically, we could quite easily see a safety car here today come into play. We didn't see any in last year's race, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see one in this year's race. Especially as there's been a lot more incidents this weekend at this point than last year. Anyway, we're just going to the race now. Okay, here we go, Heater. So, here we go. They're almost ready for the formation lap to get underway here in Melbourne. They're all on the grid. This is what they've all been building up to here at Melbourne. The formation lap is about to get underway. The formation lap is underway, and as always, and for the first time this season, it is time for the rundown of the grid. After so much preparation, this is what they've all been building up to. In pole position, it is Leslie with Alex Moores lining up in second on the grid. In third on the grid, we have Toby Jones in his first race for GP, ahead of Chantal Walker in fourth. Rosie O'Driscoll on soft tyres lines up in fifth. What can she do on her Grand Prix debut? Matt Coombs lines up in sixth. Dan Milner is in seventh on the grid on the hard tyres ahead of Kieran Hardy in eighth. Will Buchan in ninth. Lucy Woodward in 10th. Banasso rounding out the top 10. 11th on the grid we have Matthew Toussaint, the MAT's first race as a team runner. In 12th on the grid we have Lucas Quincy ahead of Hannah Tavran in 13th after a grid penalty. Abby Ledger on her Grand Prix debut starts in 14th ahead of Luke Julian in 15th. Chloe Carter lines up in 16th ahead of Kerry-Ann Peace in a much improved Lockie. 18th on the grid we have Tom Mungle ahead of Max Gala in 19th, with Jack Wilwin in 20th after disappointing qualifying. Louise Morrow lines up in 21st ahead of David Brown in 22nd and Dan Phillips in 23rd. Very disappointing qualifying for RCS. Phoebe O'Connor lines up in 24th on her Grand Prix debut. Ben Blakemore in the Manic Motorsports Run Shantana lines up in 25th ahead of Harvey Williams in 26th. James Lang on his debut in 27th. Louis Hoy in 28th. Bex Howie on her debut in 29th. And the back of the grid is Elliot Everson. And that is your grid for the season opener. And don't forget you can follow the race on KSR Motorsport.liveracers.com as the race unfolds, and follow your favourite driver. And that is it. Well, this is it. This is what they have all been building up to. The cars are lining up on the grid here in Melbourne. Their heart will be going like a crep hammer, especially the debutants. So, the two Yanasa Rokas are in their grid spots. This is what they have all been building up to. We still got quite the cars at the back are taking quite a while to line up on the grid as they're all getting in position at the back of the grid. Okay, so the final few cars are on the grid. Here we go. We have the lights on then. It's time for those 7 magic words. It's lights out, and away we go. And it's it. So the two United Rogues have got a good start as they head up towards the first corner. It's Wesley who has easily held the lead as they head into the first corner. Rosie O'Driscoll who's going to try to get round the outside of Chantal. Oh, it looks like they're all safety through turn 1. It's Wesley that leads the way, but it doesn't look like he's got the best exit. Going into turn 3, Rosie O'Driscoll and Chantal. Oh, and is that Will Buchan going up the inside? He's made a fantastic start. It looks like they've all managed to get to the first lap safely. Well, it looks like, and Lucas Quintanilla here up into 11th place. But a very interesting start there. It's Wesley who leads the way. And so you've got Kieran Hardy who's made a poor start defending from Lucas Quintanilla. But a very interesting start. Oh, that's Luke Julian getting very out of shape. Heading up towards as they all head. But a very clean first lap. And so you've got Matthew Towson. Both of the two Mossets have made very poor starts. But it's Wesley who is leading the way. He has got the start he needed. Top 5 are all as they were. But a very interesting start. But it looks like they have all managed to get through the first lap without a problem. I don't want to jinx it, but a very clean first lap. Here we've got Harvey Williams getting down the inside of Elliot Everson. It is Wesley, end of lap 1. It is Wesley that leads the way from Alex Moores, Jones, Hawke, O'Driscoll, Buchan, Coombs, Woodward, Milner and Hardy, rounding out the top 10. But the two Baronassos made fantastic starts. I'm sure we will get some replays of the start, but a very interesting start here. But Rosie O'Driscoll got a good start as they're all just trying to settle into position. But of course we will have DRS enabled next lap. Rosie O'Driscoll, as people say, tried to stick it round the outside of Chantal Hawke, but just couldn't make it stick. The two RTSs have made reasonable start. Here you've got Phoebe O'Connor, who's right behind her teammate on her CRC debut. Is Phoebe O'Connor going to be able to make the move? Here you're riding on board with Phoebe O'Connor. Is she going to be able to make the move on her more experienced teammate? Heading up towards the chicane. As Essie has really stamped his authority so far. But still, there is a long way to go in this race. We're only on lap 3. DRS has been... Oh, we got contact. That is Will Buchan has gone off into the gravel after that fantastic start. Almost wipes out Jack Baldwin in the process. But he has managed to recover up into 15th and is under pressure from Abby Leggett heading up towards turn 3. Let's have a look at what happened. Matt Coombs going for the inside, and Matt Coombs kind of just completely shoved him out the way. Matt Coombs, I think, will probably be under investigation by the stewards with that. For the moment, Rosie O'Driscoll. Here we're looking at the helicopter camera of Rosie O'Driscoll, who is sticking with Chantal Hawke. But the problem that she's got is Hawke is sticking with Jones, who's getting... So she is getting DRS. But I'm pretty sure, and we are hearing that incident is under investigation. Apparently O'Driscoll has been told on the radio, right, you know how to be fast. You need to pass both Hawke and Jones ASAP if you are to make this strategy work. But Chantal Hawke is still getting DRS. That's the problem that is the problem that O'Driscoll has. And Alex Moores is sticking with his teammate. DRS is keeping him in the range. Oh, here you've got Dan Milner getting down the inside of Lucy Woodward, heading up towards turn 3. Kieran Hardy's going to try to make the move into turn 4, but can't quite make it stick. So Dan Milner passing Lucy Woodward for P7. The Baronassos, I don't think, have the race pace that they are expecting to have. But it's been a very clean race so far, apart from the Coombs incident with Will Buchan. Rosie O'Driscoll is clearly quicker at this stage, but obviously on the soft tyres. But to make this work, she is going to have to get past that Dork racing car. Still, Hawk is within DRS range. The two Yanatarokas ahead, still running line and stern. Oh, that's a very slow Toby Jones heading into the first corner. Is Chantal Hawk going to have a chance to get past the Coochie P? Going into turn 3, not quite. And he got Matthew Towson behind Maxim Degala, or behind Luke Julian, is Luke Julian seeing a bit of a train here. You've got a bit of action at the back. They're all starting to hold station of position. Of course, they do have these strategies to come. But as I've said many times so far this race, the problem that Rosie's got is that Hawk is getting DRS. So what Rosie's going to need to do, she may have to go for a move somewhere else, or maybe the old-fashioned way, if Rosie wants to get past, or make Chantal have to defend. But it doesn't look like Chantal is as close to Toby as she was in the first earlier laps. Has she still got the advantage of DRS? Yes, she does still have DRS, so she did drop back a little bit from Toby Jones, but not enough to get her out of DRS range. Lucy Woodward seems to be holding up a bit of a train. Hannah Duran has got past Lucas Quinciana. But now let's have a look at the start. Let's have a look at how this start happened. Looking at the start. So they're now just... So, the start. So, the two Yanatarokas... Rosie O'Driscoll didn't get the best of launches, but I think saw a gap on the inside. On the outside, and then was able to try to get round the outside. Let's have a look at it from on board with Rosie O'Driscoll. Her launch was not great, but she manages to try it round the outside. And then look at the way it goes down here. Now she tries to stick it round the outside. But then all of that kerfuffle enables the two Baronassos. Let's have a look at the start from those two Baronassos in the helicopter camera. What a start from Lucy Woodward. In fact, both Baronassos absolutely launched off the line there. Both Baronassos just absolutely launched off the line. They already made up a lot of positions. And then Will Buchan getting down the inside of Matt Coombs going into turn 3. And all clean as you like through there. All clean as you like. Just such a clean start that was. Such a clean first couple of few corners. That was really well behaved from these guys and girls. But still, O'Driscoll just cannot get past this Dork racing car. The two Yanatarokas are putting away on her CRC debut. And I think her pit stop we do have coming up. She does have her pit stop coming up soon. So if she wants to make this strategy work, then she is going to really have to get on with it and make this move, because I don't think getting stuck behind Hawk is part of the plan for her debut, and Hawk is still within the DRS range of Rosie O'Driscoll, of Toby Jones. That's the thing that's really aiding Jones, really aiding Hawk. Apparently Toby Jones has been told on the team radio, okay, we need you to pull away. Rosie is stuck behind Hawk behind, so we need, and she's on soft tyres, so we need to pull away, because then to break Hawk's DRS. So that's a bit of teamwork there at Kujipi, sorry. As here you've got a bit of action here in the midfield. You've got a bit of action in the midfield. Here you've got Jack Baldwin here behind Luke Julian. Matthew Towson has passed Luke Julian and is dropping this slot. Luke Julian seems to be struggling for pace. Will Buchan's in this train as well. So is Abby Leggett at the back of this on her debut. Phoebe O'Connor has managed to get past Louise Morin. That's a big statement in the team. Of course, her more experienced teammate. I wouldn't say this has been the most exciting race yet so far. And so you've got Jack Baldwin now behind Luke Julian, now heading down the straight. But you've got the strategies about ready to come in. And Wood Esley back at the front. Wood Esley is still leading, and is keeping the gap kind of consistent at around 8/10 of a second going into the DRS, in which always closes to 4/10 of a second when Alex Moores gets his DRS. And so you've got Jack Baldwin. We could see an overtake here, but not quite. He's not quite close enough as they head into the first corner. But going into turn 3, he's going to have the run on Luke Julian. Heading down the straight, he's got DRS, but he's going to go for the move down the inside into turn 3, and yet that's an easy move there for Jack Baldwin. He has made it past Luke Julian, and now Luke Julian is going to be left to deal with Will Buchan and Abby Leggett. So, lap 9 of this race. Will Esley is about to start lap 10. It's going to be pit stops. As many people are saying, will decide this. Is Hawk going to get the run? Has Hawk got DRS? Yep, she does still. It looked a bit bigger, the gap did. It looked a bit bigger than it was. I think there's around 7 laps left in the soft tyre. It's this big train of cars which makes things very interesting. But Dan Milner, where could Dan Milner come into this race? That could be interesting. I mean, we've got a bit of a lull in proceedings at the moment. Not really much action going on, but it's going to be interesting to see where. I think it could get very interesting later on. Where could Dan Milner? Because if these guys and girls are holding each other up with Dan Milner, he could be in a position for a podium. Could Dan Milner on those hard tyres? If these guys and girls keep holding each other up, let's see where Milner is on the track. He is definitely close enough to be ahead when the pit stops take place. So it could be interesting. To see where Dan Milner is going to come out in all of this. Apparently, Toby Jones has been told an urgent team radio message. Okay, Toby, if you don't, the team radio to Toby Jones said, okay, if you can't pull away, you need to back Hawk up because Rosie's tyres are about to going to start going soon. So. And we are both you and Hawk are destroying Rosie's race. And here you've got Jack Baldwin. This is where most of the action is, in this battle in the midfield. Will Buchan has got past Luke Julian. But now Matthew Towson here on those hard tyres has got Jack Baldwin for company, who's making his way through after that bad qualifying. He's got Jack Baldwin for company now in that Mossad. So Jack Bullen looking very close. He could make a move before the end of the lap, to be honest. With Lucas Quintanilla just ahead, we've got 30 cars still running in this race. Still. But if I was Coonsby, because those soft tyres are going to start to go. If I was Coonsby, I would definitely be getting Jones to back Hawk up, because both Jones and Hawk are destroying O'Driscoll's race here. Because with her strategy, both... Apparently, Rosie has also been vented her frustration about it on the radio. Has been like, can you please get Toby to do something? Because my race is being ruined here, being stuck behind these two. Oh, we've got a yellow out there somewhere. Something's happened somewhere. Oh, that is Chloe Carter has been off. Chloe Carter's been off the road. Let's see what's happened. And she just lost it under braking. So Chloe Carter has had an excursion. Of course, Dan Miller on those hard tyres. Doing a good job on those hard tyres at the moment is Dan. Matthew Tewson's starting to close on to Lucas Quintanilla. I think Quintanilla may have had a moment somewhere, because that gap is a lot closer than it was. But I think it's a few laps time we are going to see Rosie O'Driscoll come into the pits. But it's not really been the most exciting first 13 laps, has it? Yep. Has Quintanilla got a problem here? Because he seems to be really struggling. Now here you've got Abby Leggett, who's looking very close to Luke Julian. Luke Julian is dropping down the order here. Is Abby Leggett going to have a look down the inside? Not quite. Going into turn 3, she's not quite close enough as they head into turn 3. In her CRC debut. Yet Carter obviously locked to the rears at turn 1. Looking at the helicopter camera here. Looking down at the battle for 15th place. But is looking very close is that Mossad car. Of course, they both are yellow cars, but with a completely different shade of yellow. With the completely neon yellow of the CGP and the metallic yellow. Rosie O'Driscoll is looking very close to Chantal Hawk here, but because Hawk has DRS, she can't do anything going into turn 1. This is the problem that everyone's having. Everyone's struggling to overtake because of the DRS advantage. Because of DRS. Or apart from people who are right behind someone who doesn't have DRS, because like for example this battle where Julianne doesn't have DRS and Leggett does, and Leggett is going to have a look. That's a very late lunge from Abby Leggett, and she has made that move stick. Very late lunge going into turn 3, and that was a fantastic move there by Abby Leggett. Let's just have a look at that on the replay. She really darted out at the last minute. That was a very last minute lunge from Abby Leggett. Still, that's the sort of thing that O'Driscoll really needs to do. But Luke Julian clearly struggling in that CGP car. Of course, on those soft tyres, Legit is going to have a lot more pace than the guys that she is and girls that she's battling. So this is the battle where I think we're going to see Rosie O'Driscoll come into the pits soon, considering that she is on the soft tyre in that Coombs GP, and we know the Coombs GP is actually quite hard on its tyres, but it should easily be able to do the same amount of stops as anyone else. Just look at those tyres. They are gone, those tyres are. They are gone, those tyres. So, when are we going to see the Coombs? If I was O'Driscoll, I'd actually come in now, because... But of course, what she's got to hope is she doesn't get stuck in traffic. It's lap 16 now. If I was her, I'd pit now. If I was her. If I was QGP, I want to be out of this fight and be in clean air. I mean, yes, she could come out in a midfield group, of course, but which she'll have so much more pace. But if I was QGP, I'd be calling her in now. And someone asked why the tyres all the same colour. Is that just that are marked? They are still like the soft, medium and hard compounds. They're just the same colour. But if I was Coombs GP, I would be bringing Rosie in now. Because those tyres have probably gone now. And then if she gets into clean air, when these two come in, she could undercut the pair of them. I mean, yes, she may have to do the pass again later in the race. So, oh, she's continuing round. I think that's a mistake. I think she should have come in. I personally think Rosie should have come in. Rosie there got a fantastic exit out of turn 1. But still, I don't think it's going to be close enough, especially as Hawk has DRS. This train of cars, there's a lot going on here. But I have a feeling we might see some soft tolerance. And here comes Hannah Duran having a look down. I thought she was going to do a legit down the inside going into turn 3. I thought she was going to legit it up the inside of turn 3 like Legit did to Julian. But the thing is about the QGP is it doesn't have the pit signals on. You can't see the pit lights on the QGP. You can on every other car, but apart from the QGP and the Lockheed, because they have this a different dash to everyone else. So, are we going to see Rosie? Oh yeah, Rosie's in. Rosie's in. Rosie O'Driscoll into the pits. So, that is crucial. Where is she going to come out? So, into the pits. Good stop from the QGP guys. What she needs to hope is she's out in clean air. There is the Woodward train. There she goes. She exits the pit, so she is in clear air. That has worked well for her. Pitting early now. If she wants to get ahead of those two, she's going to need to drive some fantastic laps on new tyres. Her first scheduled stop. So are we seeing any more pitters? We've got Legit into the pits as well. Blakemore into the pits. I believe they are on the soft tyres. They're getting through back markers at the moment. Essie's actually really pulled away from Alex Moores in all of this. What's happened? Has Alex Moores really lost out in back markers? Didn't see what actually happened. Alex Moores just really lost out. So Essie really benefiting from these back markers. As Alex Moores gets down the inside of Elliot Everson. That first batch of back markers these two United Rogues have got through, who are all on soft tyres. Here is Rosie O'Driscoll. Obviously, let's see what sort of laps she is going to drive. So what sort of first sectors, because this could get really interesting. She did a 31.9, but obviously she was in the pits on this lap. It's going to be very interesting to see what sort of lap she's going to drive now, because whilst these two are on these worn tyres, the likes of Jones and Hawke, then O'Driscoll is on a fresh set of softs. But let's hope that once these strategies come into play, we get more action, because it's not been a thriller so far. It's certainly not been a thriller. There's James Lang, Elliot Everson, Louis Hyde come into the pits. Bex Howing, that could, if they stayed out for longer, then that could have also benefited Rosie. The 4 back markers. So when are we going to see the medium tyres? So Rosie's now caught back up to this train. This could cost her time. Of course, on the better tyre. She set her fastest lap of the race just now, despite being held up. So, it's this train being led by Lucy Woodward. I'm pretty sure that Rosie will be hoping that they pit ASAP. So, when are we going to see? Essie's got his pit light on, so Essie's in this lap. Wood Essie's coming in. Alex Moores is staying out. So Wood Essie is coming into the pits at the end of this lap. The race leader. And this is where things could get interesting. In comes the race leader. Alex stays out. Jones in it as well. Hawke stays out. Essie's got going. There is the HWR. It's a lapped car. Crucially ahead of Dan Milner. And Rosie O'Driscoll is ahead of Toby Jones. That is crucial. The undercut has worked. A bad stop from Atkin. I'm pretty sure that's probably for the damage for the incident with Will Buchan. As Jack Baldwin gets down the inside of Matthew Towson. But that undercut for Rosie O'Driscoll has worked. The undercut's worked. So now here is Alex Moores. Is he going to come in at the end of this lap? Yep, he is. As Dan Milner puts a lap obviously on those hard tyres. But O'Driscoll's being held up by this train of cars. That's the thing. But a lot of them are likely to pit. So in comes Chantal Hawke. As well. Alex Moores is into the pits. He has to wait for Hawk, which has cost him time. Duran into the pits. There is Chantal Hawk. I think she might have got the pair of them. No, she isn't. She is behind. And Alex Moore is only just ahead. Of course, having to wait for the Dork racing car of Chantal Hawk's not helped. So O'Driscoll is ahead of the pair of them. That has really worked for Rosie O'Driscoll. And now here's a guy that's going to play an interesting role in this race. Dan Milner. I think he is going to play a very interesting role. Obviously on those hard tyres. Oh, we got a bit of action here. That is... I'm not sure what was happening here. Oh, 3 abreast going into turn 1. Quintanilla battling it out with David Bland, who's yet to pit. These two Couchbees here getting backed up behind Kieran Hardy. Is O'Driscoll going to go for the move down the inside? And she has made that move stick. Fantastic move there from Rosie O'Driscoll. Getting down the inside of Kieran Hardy. And that was a crucial move that she had to do. And especially as both Will Buchan and Kieran Hardy have, both Lucy Woodward and Kieran Hardy have come into the pits at the end of this lap. That was a crucial move from Rosie O'Driscoll. She just saw that opportunity and took it. Sending it up the inside. These new... I'm telling you, it's these new drivers that are really putting on a show here. And it's Dan Milner who's... Here we have Dan Milner just ahead of Alex Moores. Here we have... But it's these new drivers that are... seem to be fearless. We saw Leggett make an absolutely fantastic move. And now here you've got Alex Moores, who is stuck behind the masterforce of Dan Milner, who is on the hard tyres. So Dan Milner is out of sync with everybody else. O'Driscoll's been told on the radio, okay, keep going. Oh, that is not on from Dan Milner there. That is not on. That is just not on. Eventually, he gave up the place sensibly. That was not on from Dan Milner. You can't just move across in a straight line. That was not on. As Matt Coombs having a bit of an off. Duran getting down the inside of Matt Coombs, a bit of contact. But not as much as badly as to what Coombs did to Buchan, but it was kind of the same move. Duran's made up ground. She's up into 8th. Now Rosie O'Driscoll is right behind Dan Milner, who I think is going to play a big role in this race. We're approaching the halfway stage now. But Esley, look at the lead that he's got. Yellow out there for a bit. As Dan Milner moving around. Now Rosie's going to try it round the outside. Oh, there's a bit of contact, but Rosie has made it stick. Another brilliant move from Rosie O'Driscoll. She is really putting on a show. Here comes Toby Jones, getting down the inside of Dan Miller, and he has made that move stick as well. So, that was a fantastic move from... from the Coom GP driver on her Grand Prix debut. She is really putting on a show. Is Rosie. Here you've got Duran behind the Speed Tech. Now Hawk is now stuck behind Dan Miller. It's Dan Miller who is coming obviously on the hard tyres, and I think he will come back into this race, of course, when everybody else is pitted. Yellow out there. Somewhere. Someone's had a major off. That is Harvey Williams, who's gone off at turn 1. Bashed into a spin by Tom Mongol. Still got all 30 cars running, though. Oh, it's all kicking off here. As Bex Howie getting out of the way for a couple of cars. But we're seeing some... Since the pit stops, Chantal Hawk has finally managed to get past Dan Miller. Let's have a look at where she did it. You just... with simple DRS pass from Chantal Hawk. But Dan Miller, I knew was going to show an interesting role in this race. Yellow out there again. Something has happened somewhere. At turn 1, Jack Baldwin's had an incident. Kind of same, and he lost it. He was the one that lost out. And doesn't want to wipe out. Another yellow out there. What yellow was. So a lot of yellow flags now. A lot of incidents. So when I was checking through, I was checking who it was. And this is Louise Morrow, obviously on the hard tyres. She is yet to stop. We are going to see the hard tyre runners come in soon. As Bex Howie's, well, that's Elliot Everson now, is now just getting out the way of a few cars. But this has allowed Lucy Woodward to get the run. It's going to be Towson here. Of course, Matthew Towson, he's on hard tyres. He's going to play a role in this. Here is Abby Ledger. Here you're looking at behind Louise Morrow in the battle for 14th place. On those soft tyres, so we'll have a lot of pace in that car. Now down the inside that she goes, and that's an easy move for the Mossad drive. We're seeing a lot of overtaking now, which is what we want to see. As here you've got, it's this lot getting through back market, which is spark of a lot of action. As Kieran Hardy and Hannah Duran battling it out. And it's going to be when they go up to Matthew Towson. As Matt Coombs has now put a lap on Louis High, which is crucial. It's going to be when they go up to Matthew Towson where things are going to get very interesting. Because he doesn't have to move over, because he's on the hard tyre, he's in the same... He's in the race, he's not lapped, he doesn't have to move over. So, we're approaching this halfway stage of the season opener here in Melbourne. We've seen no retirements yet, which is really good to see. I don't mean for a Steam notification to come up. Max and Regala still going on the hard tyre as well. Lucas Quintana having a reasonable run. But I think it's going to be soon. We are going to see the hard... Oh, we got a lot of action here ahead. That's Will Buchan and Dan Phillips batting it out. Dan Phillips making a mistake and allowing Jack Baldwin through. And now we've got Will Buchan batting it out with Louise Morrow. So, the interesting when we're going to see the soft tyre stops. So, here is Alex Moores in second place, quite a way behind. Will Essley has dominated this race so far, in kind of similar fashion to his Abu Dhabi win last year. There's someone trying to message me on Steam, but I haven't got the message. It's not come up. But here you're on board with Matt Coombs, who is starting to close the gap to Matthew Tewson in the Mossad, of course. It's these hard tyre runners being scattered about now. Will Essie and Tom and David Bland, well not, that's David Bland batting it out with someone. With one of these Shantanas. They've both just been lapped. So Matt Kim's starting to pull away. Now you're looking at Abby Leggett, who's behind. Now the hard tyre shod. The hard tyre shod Maxim Dragala. In the battle for P13. But we have no idea. This is really what's really intriguing about these strategies. We have no idea where all these guys and girls who are running different strategies to everybody else are going to end up in this race. Actually going to end up in this race. It just really depends on how they make their way to the field, which is what Abby Leggett's going to do now, who gets down the inside of Maxim Dragala without a problem going into turn 1. But might have a bit of counter because I don't think she got the exit that she needed to be able to make the move. But Essie is really pulled away now. It's still him that has dominated this race so far. Dominated the season opener. And look how much Matt Coombs has now caught up to Matthew Tewson. Yeah, O'Driscoll pitted on lap 17. So I think that will mean probably around lap 34. So I think at the moment it's looking towards the Natharoka 1-2, but I think it's because O'Driscoll's in third, but she's not currently in the race. I don't think she's in third really, because she's got to make one more stop than everybody else, but she could still get third. I think third place is where the real race is. If it depends on how O'Driscoll treats those soft tyres. As here you've got Matt Coombs, who is stuck behind Matthew Tewson. We're seeing an interest now. I mean, yes, the first 16 laps or so were a bit dull, but now with all these deferring strategies. We are seeing a lot of action as Wesley starts lap 32. You're on board with Matt Coombs, and Matt, who's now right, surely he's not going to go for it. Yet he, unsurprisingly, he thinks better of it, but maybe going into turn 13. Now, I don't think he's going to be, because I think the dirty air just slowed him down, mate, but probably in the DRS zone, because now it's where Tucson comes in play. So when is Dan Milner going to come in and get a new set of hard tyres to go to the end? I think probably soon. But Matthew Tucson holding station in 7th place on those hard tyres. So here comes Matt Coombs going for the inside of Matthew Tucson, and he easily does it. Matthew Tucson does not put up too much of a fight, but he doesn't. He gets a horrifically poor exit, and now Lucy Woodward's going to try and have a look. But look at Kieran Hardy. Is Kieran Hardy going to go for 2 in 1? Lucy Woodward is going to get down the inside of Matthew Tucson. But Matthew Tucson's going to have the inside going into the corner, and Lucy Woodward has to back off, and that's going to allow Kieran Hardy through into 9th place. A great bit of action there. Dan Miller's not got his pit signal on yet. I think probably around the next few laps, because when they were testing the tyres, it was in Sochi, it was lap 32 that they came in, so I'm presuming it will be a bit later, maybe next lap, that we're going to see the hard tyre runners come in. It's been a good stint from Dan Milner. But those hard tyres are very durable. But is Toby Jones now about to put a lap on the Shantana? Rosie O'Driscoll's putting away, which is what she needs to do. But she does know at some point that she is going to end up back behind Jones and Hawke, who absolutely destroyed her races. Here goes Kieran Hardy down the inside of Matthew Tucson, which he does without a problem. Lucy Woodward gets him. Matthew Tucson's now going to fall down the order. Now here comes Hannah Duran. Of course, she has DRS. Is Duran going to make it down the inside? Not quite. So, Matthew Tucson on those hard tyres is causing a bit of a traffic jam here. Oh, Matt Coombs running into a bit of trouble with James Lang there. And it's really costing him. Don't know what James Lang is doing there. He's onto the grass, is James. They're all through. Is Dan Milner going to come in? That's the question. Is he in this lap? Yes, he is. So, Dan Milner into the pits. The first of the hard tyre runners is coming in. So, Dan Milner in. Is that O'Driscoll into the pits? O'Driscoll in to put on a new set of softs. Yeah, O'Driscoll's been in for the set of the soft tyre. Yeah, it was a scheduled stop. And she is in clean air. And Dan Milner has a very long stop for Dan. But he gets going. Where is he going to come out? He's free to go to the end. He's free to go to the end. He's going to come right in this battle. He's going to come out right in this battle, is Dan. Right where Lucy Woodward and Kieran Hardy getting a bit close for contact. And Lucy Woodward somehow keeps control of her car on the inside of Kieran Hardy. This is a fantastic battle. Have a look at that. So, Woodward goes to the inside. Oh, Woodward cut the corner, but it did lose her time. But I'm not sure if Woodward's going to be in a bit of trouble for that. But Hardy kind of cost himself time, that he could have got the position back if he didn't move across. I think that's a tough one. But now Dan Milner is right behind Kieran Hardy. This is where it's all kicking off. So, we've got 23 laps to go. And it's all kicking off. As Dan Milner now right behind Kieran Hardy, heading up to the Ascari. A very interesting race. Yellow out there somewhere. What's happened? Something's happening somewhere. Someone's got... Oh, we got a rear wing off. That's a rear wing gone on one of these CGPs. Someone's had a major problem. That's Dan Milner who's gone off. Rear wing gone on one of these CGPs. And Dan Milner's spun. Dan Milner's spinning. But what happened to the CGP? I'm not sure who that is. Luke Julian has been hit. And I'm presuming that's going to be his race over. Who did he get? Oh, he went off. He went off on his own. So that's going to be Luke Julian is probably, I'm presuming, with that rear wing gone, out of this race. So Luke Julian has unfortunately retired from this race after it. So that's our first retirement of the day, actually. He just spun it all on his own. It was a bad mistake. Oh, Alex Moore is getting a bit boxed in behind Carter and Leggett. Leggett goes wide, and that's really not benefited Leggett. I'm not sure how this is going to go, side by side going into this section, but they all somehow managed to file their way through. Now Essie's got the two RTSs and the HWL, got another... Oh! That's Leggett has gone off, almost collects Chantel Hawk. And Leggett has spun it. And she's lost her front wing. Abby Leggett going off. Going into... She has recovered though. And how she did not collect anyone else, I don't know. And that's going to completely wreck her debut. That is going to completely wreck her Grand Prix debut. And how she did not collect Chantel Hawk there, I don't know. Oh, that was David Bland actually tapping the wall there. In the process of trying to get out of the way. And he's lost it. David Bland's gone off. He almost did that. That was almost exactly what he did last year. My monitor just turns off, but that doesn't affect what you can see. My monitor's getting really excited. As here comes Hannah Duran down the inside of Kieran Hardy. It's all kicking off now in this race. Louise Morrow into the pits on hard tyres. It's Dan Phillips going for the inside of the Shantana. James Lang exits the pits in front of Alex Moores. But Abby Leggett's race has been completely ruined by this front wing loss. 20 laps still to go. As he got Matthew Towson now stuck behind Max Wondragala in the battle for P14. It's all really kicking off. Yellow out there for a brief second. As Alex Moores now puts a lap. Alex Moores is really suffering with these back markers. Look at the gap that Esli has now. Oh, Alex Moores going into the grass. With the straight line speed, he should pull ahead. And now this is Jones and Hawk going to sneak through as well. It's all these back markers. And these two are actually catching Chantal Hawk. Not Chantal, Alex Moores. These two are actually catching Alex Moores a little bit. Wondagala into the pits for his set of hard tyres. So when we're going to see pit, so I think it's going to be soon we're going to see all the medium tyre runners come in as Toby Jones gets down the inside of the HWR. So the question is, are we, at this rate, if we have a late safety, that could really benefit the hard tyre runners. As O'Driscoll putting a lap on Ben Blakemore. This is where the real race is, the battle for third. That's where the real race is. I'll be right back. So as Essie still leads. So it's still the top 8 as they were, but all the attention is on the battle for third place. Are we going to see Essie's in this lap for his final scheduled stop? But I think it's the battle for third where the real race is. It's the battle for third where we have the real race. I mean, Essie's in the lead, he's got a big lead. Alex Moores has got a big gap in second place. But it's the battle for third where the real race is, I think. So Essie in for his final scheduled stop. So, how's this going to go for... How are the Anata Roca team... They can even mess this up and he'd still be in the lead. That's how much of a big gap that he's got. They didn't have to rush it on that pit stop. He is out and he's free to go to the end. He's got his teammate. He's just come out ahead. Who's just come out ahead of him. That could get interesting, especially if Alex doesn't come in, if he tries to destroy Esley's race. Apparently Alex has been told to move over for Will. To just, or not move over, just not to fight him. Especially as he's coming in this lap. He's been told not to do anything stupid. This is the only time he's going to have to overtake his teammate today, I'm presuming. But Essie's apparently been told not to risk a move unless he really has to. Because Alex is coming in. so he really doesn't have to. SC's clearly got this race in the bag if he can just get to the end without any problems. So Alex into the pits. Jones is in. So this will temporarily put O'Driscoll back into 3rd place. Alex Moore's having a poor stop. I think that might be for the damage. A very poor stop for Alex Moore's. What's going on here? And Jones is ahead. So's Hawk. Wow. Now this has got interesting. This has really got interesting. The damage in the pit stop. So it's really from Dan Milner making contact with Alex Moore's. I'm pretty sure it's the contact between Milner that's done this. And now it has come the battle for 2nd place. A very poor stop as Coombs into the pits. Very poor stop for Matt Coombs as well. So, he exits the pits, does Matt Coombs. I mean, I see no reason why... I see no reason why Alex won't be able to get past Hawk and Jones. A very interesting race we're seeing here today. But it's this battle it's this battle where the real race is going to be. And here you've got Hawk having to try yellow out there somewhere. That might have been a DNF, to be honest. Not sure. Another yellow going out there. I think all these yellow flags are all due to back markers. But oh, Tucson and Quincy are in combat. No, Quincy is in. But Alex Moores is starting to catch up to Hawk at quite a rate. So to be honest, I think they're going to be easy prey for Alex Moores. Oh, that was a bit of a dangerous movement there from Louis Hyde. That was a bit of a dangerous... I think that might have been James Lang. But it's... The real interest is going to come when Rosie O'Driscoll comes into the pits on those soft tyres. This has been a fascinating race that we're seeing here today. Lucy Woodward into the pits. Behind Kieran Hardy, there's Jack Bourne coming in the background. Hardy is coming in. This has been a really fascinating race. Well, Hardy's race is being ruined here. He's got going. And Jones here being... Look at this train of 5 cars that Toby Jones has to negotiate. The 2 RTSs in combat. And that could create a bit of difficulty if Hawk gets back in DRS range. then that could really mess it up for Moores and O'Driscoll. As there is Moores and Tom Mungle, that's not what Moores will need. But Mungle does get out of the way. So when is Rosie going to come into the pits? That's the big question. When are we going to see Rosie pit? For a new set of the soft. It's been I mean, Rosie has had a fantastic debut. She's definitely fulfilled the pace that she had pre-season. Making a little bit of contact with Karen, but it's not what she needs to do, considering that she's got a pit stop that she might have to repair damage. But these strategies have worked in making the racing good. Oh, that is Hawk getting past Louise Morrow. And now they're both putting a lap on the D-mat of Dan Phillips. And now Alex Moores puts a lap on Kerry-Ann Peace. Alex is definitely on course to catch this lot. And it is the teams that decide the strategies on what tyres the cars do. And look at how now the rate that Moores, I mean, yes, there was a bit of traffic, but Moores is starting to really catch. Toosing on those hard tyres is kind of going to be a bit of an obstacle for the likes of Coombs. So the big question is, when is Rosie going to come into the pits? So when is Rosie O'Driscoll going to come into the pits? As Alex Moore's getting really held up here a bit by Phoebe O'Connor. Oh, we got an instant. That is Dan Milner and an HWR of Louis Hyde coming together. It's all really kicking off now. And the question is, what about O'Driscoll? And Louise Morrow does exactly what David Bland did. And trying to move over. Not been the best of starts for Alex Moores, has it? I mean, he had that poor stop due to the incident with Dan Milner, which might have cost him even a podium at this rate. But it's once he gets through these two back markers, then he will be free. Once he gets through Phillips, which he does now, and the Shantana, and no, it's not Louis Hyde who's the abusive fan, it's Louis Whitehall. And here is Matt Coombs. Now behind Matthew Towson in the battle for 8th place. And he gets down the inside into turn 1. So Coombs gets past Towson, his former teammate. Duran's now coming up behind as well. Alex Moores is starting to close up towards Chantal Hawk. So when are we going to see O'Driscoll coming out? It's going to be quite late that we're going to see Rosie come into the pits. She is quite a way ahead. I'm not sure. She might be ahead either way of Toby Jones. Considering her gap, I think that is where this is where the real race is. This is where the battle for 3rd place, and this is going to be between Jones, Hawk, Alex Moores, and Rosie O'Driscoll. It's actually the battle for 2nd place. So, what's the gap between Alex Moores and Chantal Hawk? That's going to be a big one. It's 5.3 at the moment. That's actually 6.3 when they get onto a straight, because I was reading the wrong gap. So, how is the gap closing? So Alex Moores is going to be driving the laps of his life, because obviously he doesn't want, obviously in this championship fight, if he wants to make up for what happened last year, the last thing that he will want to do, is to lose 15 points to him. Now they're onto the straight. When it comes up on the live timing, we'll see. He took a whole second out of Alex Moores out of Chantal Hawk on that whole lap. So Alex Moores. Oh, O'Driscoll's been in. O'Driscoll's pitted. And she is up into 4th place. And now is starting to chase after Chantal Hawk. And I think she could possibly get 2nd place here. And now she is looking for a podium on her CRC debut. I'm sure Alex Moores will be hoping. Oh, no way! She is surely not going to try it round the outside of... That would have been a real risk, but Rosie was wise to it, and she did not risk it round the outside. Is O'Driscoll going to have a look down the inside, going into the Ascari? She did it earlier, but doesn't do it this lap. Was Alex Moores ever closing that gap? This is where it's all going to really kick off in a fantastic Australian... Oh, we've lost Elliot Everson from this race. Something's happened to him. We've lost Elliot Everson as our 2nd retirement. So what actually happened to him? Gearbox failure. Stuck in 5th. Oh, Rosie O'Driscoll has managed to get past Chantal Hawk, heading into the 1st corner. Let's see where she did it. Chantal Hawk tried to cover it off, but she surely didn't do it round the outside again. Yes, she did. What a fantastic move. Wow, Rosie O'Driscoll on her CRC debut. What a drive that she has put in, as Alex Moores is ever closing that gap. We are seeing this is a fantastic battle. Fantastic start to the season we're seeing here today in terms of the racing. As Alex Moores is starting to catch up. Is O'Driscoll now? It's Toby Jones This is where it could get crucial. Now O'Driscoll right behind her teammate Toby Jones, who is approaching at quite a rate. O'Driscoll, I think, is currently the fastest on the track at the moment. She is absolutely driving the wheels off that Coom GP car. She, I think, has been the big story of this race, has Rosie O'Driscoll. And now, she is up after her teammate, Toby Jones, in the battle for second place. Looking for a podium, a second place on her Grand Prix debut is Rosie O'Driscoll. Is Rosie going to have a look? I'm pretty sure, I wonder what the Coom GP team are thinking. Are they going to ask Toby to move over? Because if she can pass, then I think whether Alex Moores can get past the likes of Hawke and Jones or not, I think she will, with the pace that she's got, I think she can hold that second place. I think she... Yellow out there. Someone's had a major issue. I think it might have happened here. As Jones gets past. Another yellow out. We're seeing yellow flags left, right and centre here. And it's Abby Leggett who's lost her rear wing. She is going to have to retire from the race. Abby Leggett has retired from the race. Disappointing debut for Abby Leggett. So he has 3 retirements. Another yellow out there. There's yellow flags everywhere we look. It's all kicking off here in the end of this thrilling Australian Grand Prix that we're seeing here today. As Alex Moores ever starting to reel in Chantal Hawke. Now here comes Rosie O'Driscoll. She's... So what are Coom GP going to be saying to Toby Jones? Apparently they have already said to Toby Jones, Rosie's a lot quicker. Be careful. Coom GP with their all new lineup and with a much better car after a very difficult 2015 season that they had. And this is getting really exciting in this battle for second place. Now I think a podium will be a good bet for Alex Moores, to be honest. A podium, Alex Moores would really be celebrating, to be honest, at this rate, considering. But this is going to be Rosie's best chance of all here on lap 54 of the Australian Grand Prix. She has the run heading into the first corner, and O'Driscoll, and she slides her way into second place. Rosie O'Driscoll has done it into second place. What a fantastic drive that the Coom GP has put in. She has become the big story of this race. Wow, she has really acquitted herself today. As Alex Moores has caught up to the back of Chantal Hawke, I think maybe catching those 2 Coom GPs, especially with the pace that Rosie O'Driscoll's going at, maybe a bit of a tall order. But Rosie O'Driscoll really doing a fantastic move. So, lap 55, Will Esley has 4 laps to go. It's only got a few more back markers to go. Alex Moores now starting to look very close to Chantal Hawke now in the battle for 3rd place. In the battle for 4th place, I think he will make this move soon. I'm not sure if he's actually going to get past Toby Jones. Or not. But look at the run he's got now. He's got DRS. He's going to have to make this move soon. Though, if he wants to close up to Toby Jones, who is really struggling. I've got smoking car behind. It's the HWR. I thought that might have been the Mossad for a moment, then that would have been a very disappointing season opener for Mossad to lose both cars. So, Alex Moores about to see if he can make the move on Chantal Hawk. Essie's got 3 laps to go. And in the midfield, Duran has passed Coombs. And here comes Hannah Duran down the inside of Lucy Woodward in the battle for P7. It's all kicking off. We have battles all the way down the points. In a fantastic race that we have seen here today at Melbourne. And here is Alex Moores. Is he going to be able to make the move here on Chantal Hawk? He's going to go for it. And he has made that move stick down the inside, going into the first corner. But has he left it too late to be able to catch up to the Coombs GP? And we got a battle starting to brew up for P10. It's Kieran Hardy. Guindana have really struggled today. They've just not had any pace. Kieran Hardy in the Guindana. Here is the race leader, who's only got 2 more laps to go. I mean, he has kind of been the most boring element of this race as Will Esley. I mean, we've not seen much of him. It's all kicked off behind. You've got a yellow out there. I think someone else has probably retired. James Lang has gone off. We've got another car off somewhere. Oh, that is Lucas Quintanilla. He's made a mistake. Almost. And that's held up Toby Jones, though. But that's going to help Alex Moore. So Lucas Quintanilla making a mistake. And that's the end of a disappointing day for DMAD. But Rosie O'Driscoll in second place, and she has pulled away from Toby Jones. So there's no hope that Alex Moores is going to catch her. What a drive! What a drive from Rosie. You have to really say, definitely the driver of the day for me. So much action in these closing laps, and Alex Moores is starting to catch Toby Jones here. As Will Esley is about to start his final lap here at Melbourne. He crosses the line, he's got no more back markers. Yellow out there somewhere. Louise Morrow, we've got a bit of action here. But what a race that we've seen here today. It may have started off a little bit slow, but with the strategies really coming into play, is Alex Moores. I don't think he's going to do it, you know. I don't think he's going to do it. Kieran Hardy is now behind Matthew Towson. But we've obviously got to view Will Esley, who after an off-season, well, he's really been the most boring element of this race, to be honest. We've not seen much of him at all. We've not really seen much of him. And he now heads into the Ascari for the last time. He's in the final sector right now. He's only got 2 more corners to go. Has Will Esley got a couple of cars ahead who are battling it out? who still have one more lap to go. But Walesi heads into the final corner onto the pit straight. Walesi came into this season as championship favourite, but he is now going to confirm that favouritism. Walesi takes his first win of the season in his title defence. Walesi kicks off his title defence in the best possible way. But the day, I think the star of the day has to go to Rosie O'Driscoll, who's going to round the final corner on her CRC debut. Rosie O'Driscoll takes a podium on her debut. What a drive! With Toby Jones finishing in third. But what a drive from Rosie O'Driscoll. In fact, she's actually the first rookie since Chantel Hawke to finish on the podium on her debut. Rosie O'Driscoll, definitely the star of the day, driver of the day. But it's Walesi who takes victory here in Melbourne. What a race that was. And don't forget the Rate the Race link is in the description now. So, and also the driver of the day as well that I'm putting in, that's new for this year. But great drive from Walesi, steering clear of the chaos. So, what a race! What a fantastic start to the season. So, Essie into the pits, Towson taking the final point in the Mossad. Lucy Woodward beats Matt Coombs. So, both Duran and Woodward managed to get past Coombs in the end. But we're going to see quite a happy podium. 2 Coombs GPs on the podium. It's not a Yanataroka 1-2. James Lang retired in the end. Let's have a look at what actually happened to him on his debut. 4 retirements we saw. Oh yeah, he had an engine failure, didn't he? His wild, the engine gave up the ghost. So, what a race. I'll be right back then. It's time for the podium. So, I'm not sure who people are saying my commentary was biased to. But a fantastic start to the season all round for CRC. But it's Walesi who takes victory. But I think a very interesting race. Those strategies did their job. But the championship is about to be added up. So, a fantastic start to the season. But people were trying. Trying to get the official classification up so I can add up the standings. But it's the race win that goes to Wesley. Wondergar had an engine failure on the final lap. But I can add up the standings now. So the 25 points go to Wesley Rosie O'Driscoll, becoming the first rookie to finish on the podium since Chantal Hawk in 2011. Great drive. So in terms of constructors, Unataroka obviously lead, but only by 4 points back to Coombe GP. We're almost ready for the podium. The championship standings have been updated. But what a race that was! But we are almost ready for the podium here at Melbourne.
It is some quite intense in this film.
So, we're almost ready. It'll be the British National Anthem. Obviously that will play. Of course, for Coombe GP. Not Coombe GP, that's Roger and Wesley, who starts the season in fantastic fashion. Here we go. It is time for the first podium of the season. Here we go. We're almost ready for it. It all really kicked off towards the end of that race. Here we go. So here we go. The podium is about to get underway. Third place, Toby Jones for Coombe GP in his first race for Coombe GP. In second place, Rosie O'Driscoll on her CRC debut. But the winner, it is Wesley, who is victorious, ready for the 6th time in a row. And for him and the national team, it will be the British national anthem. So, time for the trophy presentation. It is Wesley who is going to lift the first place trophy up for the 6th time in a row in CRC. Here is going to be the biggest cheer. Rosie O'Driscoll on her CRC debut. I don't think she thought that she'd be up there in the 2nd place spot. She holds it off the 2nd place trophy. And Toby Jones is going to lift up the 3rd place trophy. As the Constructors' Trophy is also handed out. It's not a 1-2 for Yanata Roca, but still a win. Now it's almost time. The podium party. They're just having their photograph. Now it is time for the first time this year for the drivers to get busy with the fizzy as the champagne sprays on the CRC podium. It is Wesley who is victorious at Melbourne. So, and we have a delighted Rosie O'Driscoll on the podium. She is absolutely thrilled with 2nd place. I mean, I don't think anyone expected that from... She really shocked the CRC world today, did Rosie O'Driscoll, by taking a podium in her first ever race. She just completely shocked the CRC world today. So, it is Wesley who is victorious here at Melbourne. And also, thank you very much. A fantastic start to the season in terms of view turnout. 9 viewers, which is almost as much as we had last year. Hopefully that number can increase as the season goes on. So I thank anyone who tuned in to watch that race today. And hopefully it made it so you will want to watch more, because that really was a fantastic race. That was a thrilling race here at Melbourne. It started off a bit slow, but it really did kick off towards the end. That race did. It really did kick off, didn't it? Well, James, I think, will be disappointed he missed that one, because I think that was one of the best season openers we've had. I mean, yes, there wasn't too much of a battle for the lead. Yes, that was kind of... the battle for the lead was kind of done, like, after the first round of pit stops. But the battle for second place was really intriguing. And Rosie O'Driscoll making the soft tyres work. Making those soft tyres work to perform a fantastic load of overtakes that she did. To finish in second place. So, what a race that we just saw. But no, I mean, 9 is not too much of an achievement, but it's a good number to start on. Hopefully we can increase on that as the season goes on. But a very interesting, I'm going to show you a few pieces from the race. We're going to show you a few pieces from the race later, just in a minute. But we don't have like too much time left, but we are going to show you a few things from the race. So let's actually have a look at the start of the race, how that panned out. So they all get on the grid. So the lights went off. Both Yana Roka's getting away reasonably well, but looking at let's just have a look at how Rosie O'Driscoll's start, because this was a really interesting one. Toby Jones getting a fantastic start. She bogged down a little bit, did Rosie. Then saw a gap on the outside which enabled her to brake late going into turn 1 and get the exit. At this point she was actually ahead of Chantal Hawke, and now heading into the first corner, into the turn 3 braking zone. She tried to hang it around the outside, but Hawke got the better traction. She did really try. A bit of locking up behind going into this corner. But a very interesting start to the race that we saw. It was such a clean first lap as well. We only saw 4 DNFs. Let's have a look at the whole field as they get up underway. Clean as you like into the first corner. Then heading into turn 3. It was all very clean. The two Brown Assos flew off the line. Lucy Woodward had a good day. I mean, Buckner slow launch, but then benefited from all the other cars ahead who got poor launches. Then just got round the outside, and Woodward getting round the outside of Hardy and getting past Milner as well. And then Will Buchan gets down the inside of Matt Coombs, benefiting from the block up ahead. And it was the incident with Milner that cost Moore so much. That eventually cost Moore second place. When he tried to pass Dan Milner, he completely cut across, which obviously would have damaged his car, and that was enough to put him down to fourth place, initially fifth. That damaged his car enough. So I think Milner will be under investigation for that. So Milner, we understand. Dan Milner is under investigation for that. We're just having a look. That was Duran getting past Coombs. A little bit aggressive, but Coombs kind of did turn in. Could really have seen that. So let's have a look at the Coombs-Buchan one. The incident between Coombs and Buchan, to see if this is actually penalty worthy. To be honest, I think Buchan had plenty of time. He should really have seen that coming. I think really Buchan should have seen that coming. He just could. But from this shot, I don't really think there's much Buchan could have done. So I think Coombs, we might see Coombs getting a penalty for that, to be honest. We might see Matt Coombs getting a penalty. But let's have a look at the O'Driscoll overtakes. I mean, she got stuck behind these two in the early laps. But the one on Hardy was the one that really stood out. She just saw a gap and took it. You can see she's not really like expected to make the move, but then she just sees a gap, just launches it up the inside and takes it. And especially the driver at the caliber of Kieran Hardy. Of course, then Hardy went into the pits at the end of that lap. Let's just have a look at a few retirements, like what actually happened to the likes of Legit. And Julian. Yeah, he just... Luke Julian obviously losing it on his own. In that CGP. And then Abby Legit, she had 2 incidents, we know. She was having a good day. We know that. But she lost her front wing. Almost collected. Almost with the lock. That Lockie there was very lucky to get away with that. The Lockie of Chloe Carter was very lucky not to be taken off. And of course she eventually had to retire. When she went off. But with regards to penalty, we're now getting a few penalty decisions in now. We are hearing news that Dan Milner has been handed 2 penalty points for causing that incident that obviously cost Alex Morse a podium. He has been handed 2 penalty points for it because it damaged his car enough, causing an incident that damaged the car enough to extend a pit stop. So 2 penalty points have been gained by Dan Milner. A very interesting race. And they're still investigating the incident with Coombs. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. We're hearing news, in fact, now that Matt Coombs has been handed a 20-second time penalty for causing the incident. But because the cars drop out, how does that work with the cars dropping back? That's interesting. It doesn't actually, they can't actually, the thing is, they can't actually give him a 20-second time penalty because the car's behind. It wouldn't cost him as much as it wouldn't cost him anything because the car's behind finished lapped. So it doesn't work that way. He has been handed a 5. That's been converted to a 5-place grid penalty. And 2 penalty points. So that is very interesting with all the penalty points that have been handed out. But we almost are ready to wrap up here at Melbourne in a very interesting race that we saw here today. In terms of drivers who lost engines today, Max Regard and James Lane will have to go to a second engine in Bahrain. But that's it from a fantastic race in Melbourne. Thank you very much for watching this Australian Grand Prix. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. The second round of the 2016 CRC World Championship. Goodbye.